been all over the United States. Really, I've been in every state in the Union. I've performed in every state in the Union. I've been all over. And I have to tell you, 99% of Americans that I've met don't give a fuck about what you're doing or what you're up to as long as you stay the fuck off of their property. I don't give a fuck what you wear or who you do it with. You stay the fuck off of my lawn. And that's it. It's just, it's just easier to look at other people's shit than you don't have to look at your own. There you are. Where's my fucking PhD? That's it. That's it. That's why the gossip, websites and the tabloid magazines are always like, fucking other people's shit. But you know what? I'm fucking sick of it. I'm fucking sick of it. I'm sick of every time I go in a fucking supermarket, there's all these tabloids around and it's always Brad Pitt, Jennifer Aniston, Angelina Jolie. What's gonna happen now? Who gives a fuck? I don't care. 7 years this shit's been going on. Brad Pitt, Jennifer Aniston, Angelina Jolie. What's gonna happen now? What's gonna happen now? I don't care. If you don't know the story, very briefly, here's what it is. Just very briefly, here's apparently what happened. Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston were very happily married, and they used to live in a lovely house in Malibu. And they were asleep one night, and while they were asleep, Angelina Jolie crept into their house. And she was wearing a striped shirt, and she had a bag with a dollar sign on it. And she stole Brad Pitt, stole him like he was a fucking toaster. I was like, come on, I don't believe this shit for a minute. And they always paint it as like, Brad Pitt's this kind of dumb guy, he's like, I don't know, and Angelina Jolie's like, like snidely fucking whiplash. And poor Jen, her heart has been broken one more time. Like, oh, for fuck's sake, come on. Men can't be stolen away like that just because another hot woman comes along. I can't finish this without laughing. No, wait, that's not true. We're not that shallow. I know you think we're shallow, ladies, but we're not that shallow. Well, not after the age of 40. Then we just get, fuck it. I'm good here. I need to move all my stuff. It's fine. A perfect example of that is the actor Warren Beatty. Warren Beatty, for 30 years, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, Warren Beatty shagged everybody. Everybody. He was like, hi, how you doing? I'm Warren Beatty. What's up, baby? Warren Beatty. Hey, welcome to Australia. I'm Warren Beatty. He shagged everybody. Then he met Annette Bening, and he just, stopped. And the tabloids were like, whoa, Annette Bening must know that trick you can do with your finger. You know that trick? You get yourself a gay friend, they sort you right out. Or a doctor. Or a gay doctor friend, it doesn't matter. Look, just learn the fucking trick. No, but the tabloids were like, oh no, what does Annette Bening have that all these other women don't have? I say, I'll tell you what she has, a fucking tired Warren Beatty, that's what she has. He's like, ugh. Warren Beatty shagged everybody for 30 years, and now he's in his mid-70s. He has 3 teenage daughters. Karma's a bitch, ain't it? Anyway, Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, and Jennifer Aniston. Oh, Brad, and Angelina, and Jennifer. Oh, poor Jennifer, her heart has been broken. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Come on, Jennifer Aniston's a very capable, successful woman. Stop this. Is it? And if Jennifer Aniston had done what a smart woman does when she marries someone, she'd still be married to Brad Pitt. When a smart woman wants to stay married to a guy, after the wedding, she fattens him up a little bit. Not too much. Just enough to slow the fucker down in case he gets any ideas. Have some dessert, honey. You've been working so hard. I love your little love handle, little muffin tops. I went to rehab 20 years ago for chronic alcohol and cocaine addiction, which it seems a little unfair to me because although I did drink a lot and I certainly took a lot of cocaine, I never thought of myself as a cocaine addict. I always thought cocaine was just a kind of vitamin that helped you drink more. I still kind of believe that. But it's true, you can go to fucking rehab for anything now. It doesn't have to be anything like that. You can go to rehab for anything. I went to a Hollywood party, this is true, recently, And this guy came over to me and he was like, hey, you've been very open about your struggles with drink and drugs. I'm like, it's not really a struggle. I haven't had them for a long time. He was like, yeah, but you've been very open about your past with it. And I'm like, well, it is what it is. And he said, well, I have a substance abuse problem. I was like, oh, really? What's your thing? He's like, chocolate. I was like, oh, man. You know what you should do? You should go fuck yourself. It's like, oh, man, that's harsh. I'm like, no, you're a fucking idiot. You ain't addicted to chocolate. Shut up. If you're here tonight and you think you're addicted to chocolate, you're not. You're stupid. I know you think I know what it's like. I've eaten too much chocolate in my life. I understand that. Sometimes you eat a little too much chocolate, you go, oh, I feel bad. But it's different. I've never gone out and I thought, I'm just going to have an Almond Joy. Then you have an Almond Joy and go, oh, fuck, I got to have more Almond Joys. I got to have Almond Joy. Get a Snickers bar up my ass. I got to have a Snickers bar. Pour Hershey over my tits. Hershey over my tits. I got a chocolate. Rub chocolate over my fucking. Stick it in my taint. I got to have chocolate all over it. Chocolate. Then wake up 3 days later on the floor of a Piggly Wiggly with a sore ass and a tattoo. That's fucking addiction. But there's also a downside. Look, I'm not judging you. If you think you're addicted to chocolate, then you're just a fucking idiot. I'm not saying there aren't other pathologies. I understand there are different pathologies. I understand there are different addictions, but it's hard to know what's what. You can't pathologize the human condition. I mean, there are some things you go, wait a minute, you're just a fucking asshole. Like sexual addiction, right? Sexual addiction. I understand there's a problem there. I understand there's a compulsive behavior, but how do you know when you're a sex addict or just you? Well, let me tell you. No, people say to me, Craig, why do you call the studio audience hobos at your show? And I'll tell you why, because they are. Some of them, anyway. And I'll tell you how I found out. It was after the show one day, I went to the restroom, and I used the same restroom as the audience, show business. And I went into the restroom, and there was a gentleman who had been in the audience washing his feet. That's a clue. He was washing his feet. I was like, hey, what's up? He's like, just washing my feet. I'm like, yeah, go ahead. And he said, I love your show, man. I said, thanks very much. He said, to be honest, I don't care for you. The accent, it's irritating. I'm like, okay. He said, but I just love coming here. I love coming here. I can wash my feet. They give us some snacks, and they pay me $10 an hour. I'm like, what? Pay you $10 an hour? He's like, oh, yeah. It's like, fuck, wait there. So I go and see the producers of the show. I said, we paying hobos $10 an hour to pretend to like me? And they said, oh, yes. What the fuck? They said everybody does it, and apparently everybody does. I didn't know this. Everybody does it. All the daytime shows, all the late night shows, all the award shows, any show with an audience, the Emmys, the Oscars, the Grammys, fucking anything. They have this team of hobos that go from place to place. I don't know how they get in touch with them. It's like a bat signal or something. And they're seat fillers because nobody wants to see an empty seat on TV. So these people, they wait. And like at the Oscars, if Tom Cruise has to go to the bathroom during the Oscars, a hobo will go over to his seat and, fill the seat. And if Tom Cruise wins the Oscar while the hobo's in the seat, the hobo has to go up and collect it. That last bit isn't true, but that would be fucking awesome if it was. Oh, I'd like to thank everybody under the bridge. It'd just be more entertaining. Sleep deprivation is weird, though. It makes you think really weird thoughts. You know that studies have proven, my own studies have proven this. No, this is true. Studies have proven that 3 days without sleep is exactly the same effect on your body as a tab of acid. And I'm talking real acid, not that shit that you kids take today. All that, oh, this ecstasy, I'm tripping. It's just like acid, I'm tripping. Look at you, not tripping. Look at you walking around, talking, breathing, but able to converse, dance and shit. That's not tripping, that's coffee, you little fuck. I'm talking acid. I'm talking acid. I'm talking. Saigon. I took too much acid. I did. I took a lot of acid. I know that's probably a surprise to you, but I did. I did. I took too much acid. Here's what happened. I took it once and I thought, oh my God, this is horrible. So I took it about 30 more times just to make sure. And I didn't do acid the right way. I mean, you're meant to take acid by a stream, by a river, with unicorns and the babies and lovely. I didn't do it like that. I did acid in Glasgow in the 1970s, and we did it once the bars closed. We would drink all day in rainy old Glasgow, and then at 11 o'clock when the bar shut, somebody would say, anybody fancy a fucking transcendental experience? I've got acid. And we'd take acid after drinking all day, and that is not the way to do it. It's not. You know, I once took acid after 12 pints of Guinness. You may well judge me, you fuck. Never do acid after 12 pints of Guinness. There's your PSA, kids. Don't do acid after 12 pints of Guinness. Just don't do it. It's horrible. Leprechauns flew out of my ass. I was like, how many of them? And they were like, hee, touch his Lucky Charms on the way. I did too many drugs is what I'm saying. I did too many drugs. And when I say I did them, I fucking did them. I didn't experiment with them. You know when people say, oh yeah, when I was in my late teens and 20s, I experimented with drugs. No, you fucking didn't. You're not a scientist. I didn't experiment with them. I experimented so you get a white coat, you get the drug, you feed it to the dog, you film it, you put it on YouTube. That's a fucking experiment. That's science. It's not science to blow a dealer for crack. That's not science. That's art. Anyway, you know, sleep deprivation is bad, but the drugs was worse, so I don't do them anymore. I don't do drugs, don't do it. That's not to say, I'm not one of these people that stop taking drugs and and then decide, you all have got to stop too. You know when people, they stop taking drugs, they get very evangelical. It's like, I've stopped taking drugs, now you must all stop taking drugs. I don't feel that way about it. I feel like I have got a connection with you guys. I think my audience, you know, I think we have a thing, and I want you to know from the bottom of my heart, I really mean this, I really do. I don't give a fuck what you do. I've got kids. Fucking grown-ass people, you do what you fucking like. I've lost half my stuff twice due to great asses. That's all my stuff once. No, a lot of trouble in the world caused by great asses. Wars, human suffering is caused by great asses. The first documented war in human history, the Siege of Troy, the Trojan War, that was caused by a great ass. Helen of Troy, renowned for her great ass, was living in Greece, and she was visited by Paris from Troy. He's like, ooh, that's a lovely ass. Come live with me in Troy. And she's like, okay. And she went and to live in Troy with him, and the Greeks were furious. They marched over to Troy. They're like, show us her ass. How dare you? And the Trojans, who I always imagined to be French for some reason, were like, no, you can't see her ass. I'm looking at it right now. I think I'll rub butter on it. Garlic butter. 10 years the Siege of Troy went on, 10 years. And then eventually the Greeks were like, you know what, fuck you. We're going home. We left you a horse. And the Trojans, who were fucking stupid, let's be honest. The Trojans are people who named themselves after a condom. Like, how did they die out? Guess, motherfucker! The Trojans see the horse, they're like, oh, look, they left us, I love the horse. What's this? Oh, thank you for the word. That's nice. Bring it inside. I mean, even if they just listened for a second at the side of it, you'd have heard it like, shut up, no, you shut up. I thought we agreed no farting in the horse. I can't help it. I get nervous before a battle. Siege of Troy, caused by a great ass. The war between the Roman Empire and ancient Egypt, Caesar, Antony, and Cleopatra. That was all about Cleopatra having a fantastic ass. She had a great ass, and Mark Antony's like, I'm going to Egypt, fuck you. And then Caesar was furious, and he got his army together, and they marched on Egypt. He was like, show us her ass, show us her ass, show us her ass. Because Romans spoke with British accents, apparently. They do. If you see any movie about ancient Rome, they always talk in British accents like, Caesar, a messenger. Oh, lovely, bring it over. I'm just having tea. Sire, some news from Downton Abbey. Really? Come on over there. It's true. All movies about ancient Rome, the Romans talk with British accents. It was ridiculous. The Italians would be like, hey, what's the coming or go? But you watch any movie about ancient Rome, they're talking, or any of these ancient movies, if you want to make an ancient thing, you know, as ancient movies, like everyone talks with British accents, which really fucks me off. Because I can't concentrate. It takes me out of the movie. I always expect something weird to happen because I watched a lot of Monty Python when I was a kid. A lot. So whenever I hear them go, Caesar, yes, what? I always expect like a little bunny rabbit or something to come up. Or a giant brawn of a hedgehog or something to come in. Even the good ones, even the ones like, you know that movie, The 300? That is a fucking great movie. And my buddy Jerry Butler is in that movie. He plays the king of the Spartans. Now, I've known Jerry for 20, do you see Jerry's abs in that movie? Holy crap, they're awesome. I saw him after I saw the movie. I'm like, Jerry, your fucking abs in that movie are amazing. And he was like, yeah, I worked really hard. He went, yeah, man, it was great. He went, not just that. Here's the thing. They do this thing. They put makeup on it, and then they kind of CGI it so your abs look really great. I was like, oh. He said, now don't tell anybody. So I didn't. No, I just made that up. Anyway, all I'm saying, in that movie, I don't know why I told you that. Because I'm a shit, that's why. No, in that movie where Jerry has that great speech, you know, but I still hear Monty Python, like, even when he has that great speech, when he's like, tonight we dine in hell. And I keep expecting someone to say, what are we having? The hell are you talking about? Well, you know, I'm a vegetarian, so is Michael. I just wondered if there's a vegetarian option in hell. Or maybe we should pack something. It's not that hard to get on TV. I'm on fucking TV. Honey Boo Boo is on TV. Ding dong, Honey Boo Boo. Like, what? People have a hard time with my accent? I mean, what the fuck is this? It's just people sound like they're yodeling underwater. Ding dong is boo boo. I don't subscribe to that. I don't like people going on TV and telling other people how to live like Dr. Phil. Fuck you, Dr. Phil. Not even a fucking doctor. Dr. Phil. Let's have a look at this. Dr. Phil, what's your problem with Dr. Phil, Craig? Well, it's the fact he's not a fucking doctor! What are you talking about, Craig? He's Dr. Phil. That's right, that's his name, Dr. Phil. It's not his qualifications, he's Phil McGraw, PhD. PhD, isn't that a doctorate? Fine, you let him take out your fucking appendix, motherfucker. He's not a doctor. Craig, are you saying Oprah lied to us? Yes. I gotta keep moving now. Oprah's people have scopes. Like, Gail up in the balcony. You motherfucker, I tell you. Dr. Phil's not a doctor, he's a PhD. Like, if your appendix bursts tonight, Dr. Phil's there or a doctor, who are you going with? Exactly. It's not that hard to get on TV and tell people how to live. The fucking Kardashians are on TV. Not that I'm against that, actually, I'm not. That Kim Kardashian's got a lovely ass. She has. There's always room in show business for someone with a lovely ass. That's how I got started. Make way for leprechauns. No, great asses cause a lot of fucking problems. When I first moved to Hollywood, I was very, very twitchy. I'd just gotten sober. I was very, very twitchy and very volatile, even twitchier than I am now. I was like, you know, when Daffy Duck drinks a potion in a cartoon or something, I was like, like that twitchy. And I was like that all the time. So, you know, the only employment I could get is that of an actor, because you can do that if you're insane and stupid. Yes, you can. Here's how you do it. You pretend things. It's like, oh, it was very hard work in this movie. Really, what did you do? We pretended things. Oh, fuck, that must have been really hard. Here's how you do acting. Oh, what's that over there? There's nothing there. I fucking acted right there. Anyway, what I'm saying is, I was working as an actor, and I was working with this very new age actress, a very nice woman, lovely woman, very caring person, but very new age and very Hollywood and very all that kind of, you know, eggs and all that kind of stuff. And when we weren't on the set together, I'd visit her in her trailer. No, I would visit her in her trailer, and I was so twitchy and upset, and she said, baby, your problem isn't alcoholism. I was like, it isn't? Fucking great, let's get drunk. She's like, no, honey, your problem isn't alcoholism. Your problem is that your aura is misaligned. Your aura is all out of whack. And I'm like, my aura? What, you mean I'm farty? She's like, yeah, but no. No, what happened? Your aura, baby, it's all out of whack. You need to have your aura worked on. You need to have an aura adjustment. You need to go and have an aura massage. I'm like, you're fucking high. She's like, you gotta go or no more visits to my trailer. I'm like, okay. So I went to this place. It really exists. It's in Hollywood. It's an aura massage spa where you can go and have your aura massaged. And I went and I walked in. And it's just like a regular spa place. You go for a massage, you know, the people wearing the white coats and the little rocks and the little trees and the little fountain and the Enya music playing and all that stuff. And like any guy going for a massage, I'm thinking, am I going to get jerked off here? I mean, you know it's not going to happen, but it might happen. I mean, it's not going to happen, but it might happen. This might be the one time when the therapist goes, you know, this is unethical, but I can see the problem here. Let me just take a... I try and instigate it now. You know, when they say any problem here, it's like I've a lot of tension around here. You know, you don't want it to happen, but it might, and you want to be ready. That's why straight guys always ask for a female therapist, because you think, well, if I'm going to get jerked off, I'd prefer if it was a lady. You know it's not going to happen, but it might. Look, any guy that says to you if he goes for a massage that doesn't go through, he's fucking lying to you. That goes through your head. You know it's not going to happen. That's how you can tell when a guy's been for a legitimate massage. He comes out relaxed and a little bit disappointed. It's like, how was your massage, honey? Like, that's good. It's great. Really got my shoulder. Anyway, so I go to get my aura massage, and it's just like a regular massage. You know, you lie on the table, take your clothes off, towel over your junk, big towel, big giant beach towel over my junk. And then the massage treatment is exactly the same as a regular massage. The therapist come in, very nice young woman, and it's the same as a regular massage, except this is the therapist's hands, then this is a foot of air, and then there's you. And in here is your aura. And I'm like, are you fucking shitting me? But, you know, they really sell it, so, you know, you don't want to be an asshole. And they say all the same things, like, how's the pressure there? And I'm like, Good, that's great. And they're doing it. They're fucking doing it. I'm like, I am such a fucking tool for being here. And she's saying all these things like, oh, that's a knot there. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's the spot, yeah. I felt such a prick, and I was actually getting tense and angry and angrier at myself and angry. And I was so fucking tense. By the time she finished, I was so relieved, I felt as if I had a hen's egg removed from my vagina. And then, when I went to go and write the check, you know, I was at the receptionist, and the receptionist said, when you make out the check, make it to the Aura, Chakra Chiropractic Clinic. And I'm like, this is chiropractic? And she said, no. But if you call it that, you can claim it on your insurance. And I was like, oh, doesn't that fuck with your aura? And I left in a cloud of smug. But that happened, that's true. I love my kids, I do. Children are awesome, they're great. I believe they're our future. It's just when they're babies, anyone who's got a baby knows, anyone who's got kids, babies are fucking unreasonable shits. They are, I mean, kids are beautiful, aren't they adorable? Oh, it's Christmas and their little pajamas and shit, but oh my God, when they're babies, they're fucking evil. They're screaming in the poo and they're, They cry over him. You can't reason with a baby. You can't talk to them. You can't say, come on, I've put on your diaper, I fed you. What's wrong with you? They just cry over every argument you've got. They cry right over the top of you. It's like living with Glenn Beck. There's a risky joke in DC. At the same time, it's like living with a psycho midget German prostitute. Which I have done, actually. In Amsterdam in 1987 for a little while. About 2 years ago, a little less, my wife had a baby. Thanks, everybody! I had sex! Yeah, so there's a little baby. There's a baby living in my house. An actual living baby in my house. So you know I am fucking happy to be here. This whole idea of doing a special and stand-up comedy show is just so I can get a fucking night's sleep. That's all it is. I just want a night in a hotel, some room service and some porn. That's all I want. Something delicious and then room service. Don't worry, I'm not just here to get away from my children. Of course, I've got a joke for you. I've got a joke. Don't worry, I'm sure I do. I do. I have a joke for you, told to me by my friend Drew Carey, when he was fat. That's important, when he was fat and funny. Not this thin Drew Carey, not this thin Norval Rickenbacker motherfucker that he is now. Fat Drew Carey, fat, when he was funny, because fat is where comedy is stored. That's why I tell anybody that sees me naked, I'm like, what are you talking about? This is my jokes. This is, there's titters, there's a couple of titters here, people tittering, there's and there's my big finish here. Look, I don't want you to get the wrong idea. I'm not just here to get away from my children. I'm not. I love my children. Of course I do. They're beautiful, whatever their names are. They're gorgeous. No, they are. I love my kids. I do. And I adore them. I was right there when they were born. I was right there when they were conceived. I think. You can't be sure. One of them's Asian. That's not true. That would be awkward, though, wouldn't it? Like, congratulations, Mr. Ferguson. Look, an Asian baby. No, I was definitely, there. I don't know if I was there when they were conceived, because, conception takes place up to 24 hours later after sex, in the woman's body. So I might have been doing what I do after sex, which is standing by the refrigerator crying. I'm a dirty whore. But anyway, I was definitely in the room when my kids were born. I was right there in the room. I watched that baby come flying out, and then that other thing come flying out after the baby. I'm like, what the fuck is that? What's that thing? They're like, don't worry about that. I mean, don't worry about it. It's the same size as a baby. What the fuck is it? Like, what is it? I've only budgeted for one. Does that go to college? What is that thing? What is it? The kit? What is it? Like, don't worry about it. I'm like, I am worried about it. They're like, no, no. And the doctors and nurses going, oh, isn't it so beautiful? Isn't this such a beautiful experience? I'm like, it's all right for you to talk like that. You're only here for the day. I've got to come back to this area later on with a completely different agenda. I watched this baby coming out. I was like, oh.